My name is Akinyi Odongo. I have a small video to show. And as you watch the video, I want you to absorb and start thinking about yourself in your profession. What God has given you, what are you doing with it?
My name is Vivan Oguk. I'm the co-founder and managing director of Kobe Nairobi. The thing that stood out in our career was when we met Akinyi of Akinyi Odongo, Kenya. I remember she once told me that we are competing internationally, so we don't just think Kibera where we are based. We don't just think Kenya where we are based. We think international and global, and that's reflected to our aesthetic and what we do, the systems we put in place as well.
Being able to be encouraged to do what you do, being able to be sort of led is very helpful, I believe, especially for people starting out in their careers. When there's somebody who's gone ahead of you and seen different things, we don't all need to learn from our mistakes. We can learn from other people's mistakes, and that actually makes the journey a bit more, I think, effective or efficient. And being in an industry that needs to grow and really move forward, it's beyond helpful.
Hi everyone, I'm Unkeme Tsumwako of Pink Chocolate Designs. I'm a fashion designer by profession. And since I met Akinyi, I have learned a lot from her, especially in terms of branding your business and branding yourself as the business, and wearing your stuff, the things that you have made 365 days. I've learned that from her. And there are some things which also I've learned to put God first in everything that you do. Put God first thing in the morning, put God first, and you will see your success.
I'm a fashion designer based in Botswana under the mentorship of Akinyi Odongo. I met Akinyi through Facebook and I loved her work. I loved what she was doing at that time. From the time I met her and I requested her, and from the time she mentored me, I would say I've learned a lot. I really appreciate on behalf of the team that I'm leading and say thank you for your mentorship. May God richly bless you, and we hope one day we'll meet in person and learn more from you and your Kenya team. Thank you so much.
What you have seen is just but a few examples of what I've been able to do. As I grew up in the village, fashion was not anything you tell your parents that you want to be a fashion designer, you want to be a singer, or you want to be anything else. For those of you who are my age, you can tell that. Are we together? Yes. Okay, so there are some age mates here. And as I was in school, in my high school especially, I grew up as a very creative child, doing everything, drama, music, dancing, and doing all these things, and very creative. But there was nothing really interesting to show parents that it's important to have a creative child and support that child. So when he went to high school, one of the things that I remember very well, my head teachers one day put me in the parade and told the whole school, this girl loves art, and I want to tell you, art will take you nowhere. And art indeed has took me to many places. So as an African child, growing up in the village, doing everything African, and by the way, I came to Nairobi by virtue of other things. So you can imagine KICC was like those pictures you take and then you hold the tip? We did that. And I remember the first time I ever came to Nairobi was Music Festival when he came for the Nationals in Nairobi. And I was like, wow, I've achieved so much in life. And I went, after high school, being a very creative child and doing very many things, I always liked to be doing things that are so different. And my grandfather was a pastor that pastored a church. And on top of pastoring, he was making bicycles, a bicycle repair. So I used to go and help him repair bicycles when I have my free time. For those of you who've been in the village or you ever had a black mamba, you know how it was repaired. If it's torn, the inner tube, you remove it, put it in water to get where the pressure comes from. That's where and then you use some some things to rub and then paste it to puncture, repairing of a puncture. So I did all that. And my father was a farmer. We reared chicken, pigs, turkey, all these things. And the person who was left to manage the farm was myself. Out of all the 6 siblings. And I used to complain to my dad all the time, why me? Why are you frustrating me all the time that I have to do all these things? I didn't know I was being prepared for my future. After that, I went to the military to train. And that's why Akinyi is very tough. Akinyi does not play. So my mentees can attest to that. And Angela was very strong on that. And that's just me. When I went to the military, it was enough for me. I did all the boot camps and all those things, and I said it's enough. And later on, I'm a mother of 3, 2 handsome boys and 1 daughter. And I went to Evelyn's College of Design when I was already a mother of 2. So as a mother, that's how powerful African women are. Mother, wife, student, all these things together. And after 2 years, I graduated with a distinction at Evelyn's College of Design. It wasn't easy. Several times I was kicked out of school for school fees. But I hung in there. After graduation, I got into this space of the fashion industry in Kenya. Of course, you'll always find in every industry there are people who've been there ahead of you. So you either want to fit in or just to learn what they do. But to realize that it's not so easy to fit in. When in an industry, whichever industry it is, when there are already people that are there and they're not willing to support or to show the incoming people the way. So I took it upon myself to just wade out a way for myself. I tried to apply for a number of shows. I could get regrets. You don't qualify. Your designs are not so good. You could lose hope and go back home and sleep. But I made a decision because I've got destiny with my life and a service to God that whatever man says does not define me. It is what does God say about me. I can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens me. And indeed, Christ Jesus has strengthened me to this day. I cannot count myself to have apprehended, but I'm on the race. I haven't reached yet. But in this race, I realized along the line that to hold up someone else's hand and run with them. And together, we change the African narrative, the African fashion story. And the mistakes that I made, the suffering that I went through, the ridicule that I went through, I could not fit into the system. I had to create my own space. And creating your space in any industry it's not a walk in the park. But I made a decision because I knew I have a destiny with God. I started mentoring. I work with Beacon of Hope. Beacon of Hope takes care of youth and women who are either HIV affected or infected. I love young people. No wonder God makes me look that young. Because I speak to their hearts. And I took it upon myself to reach out to the younger people. Never say die. Never give up. It's not what someone else says you are. What does God say that you are is what you are. I've designed for the First Lady of the Republic of Kenya. I have designed for Arancha Gonza. I've designed for so many people in this world, the who and who's in this world. I have traveled the world. Little did I know that from a small village in Rangala, one day I would even catch a plane to any part of this world. There's nothing impossible with God. Mentoring hasn't been easy either, And why mentoring? It's because I came to a place after all these experiences that I had. I said, God, you know what? You have blessed me so much. And when God blesses you, he expects you to share the blessing. And one of the things that I learned along the way is that the cake is so big. All of us can have a portion of it. And my blessing, no one, absolutely no one can take away from me. And neither can I take anybody else's blessing away. So why do we cut each other as women and Africans and making sure that nobody else ever stands up and grows? Did we know that as you build others around you, you'll be a big army together? I use army because I'm from a military, yes, sir. A whole army, a battalion of creatives. That is the vision that I see. Coming from Kenya to Botswana. Botswana now, there are 120. Botswana did not even have an association of fashion. Through Facebook, the last girl said, she reached out to me. And I started guiding them on a Facebook. I have a WhatsApp page of Botswana team, Rwanda team, South Sudan team, all these teams. And I mentor them. I've never met them. I don't want to know. Because Fashion Agenda Africa, the initiative that I've started, is going to go beyond Kenya, beyond Africa, and the whole world shall know that there are creatives in Africa and in Kenya. Time has come when Africa has to rise up and shine. And I challenge all the women who are here and the men who we celebrate who are here with us. Your time is now. Would you want to be counted? It's no longer about me. And what I've learned as I mentored these other brands is that God has opened more doors for me because I've left it open to give out what I've learned. I have not lacked. I've got people who've asked me, Akinyi, you're sharing your skills and your business secrets to these other people. Don't you think that they're going to overrun you and just compete? I'm like, a copy cut is just a copy from the original. So I'll always be the original. So if you copy me, it's fine. Because everybody has their own space. And we need to learn to be comfortable in our own skin. And for me, Fashion Agenda Africa is going to be an example of Africans working together and becoming a force to change a narrative and to change a space. Because what we have in Africa as something that we need to export is our creativity. No one can take it away from us. No one. My vision and my plan is by the time I am gone, I will have brands, global brands from Africa that will start saying, I knew a lady, I was Kenyan lady called Akinyi Odongo that started an initiative called Fashion Agenda Africa. I was part of it, and it brought me to this level. I want to see in the future that there's a big, huge conference, wherever I will be, called Fashion Agenda Africa, that we'll be able to bring in all the African countries in one place and converge and showcase their creativity. That is my dream. That is my passion. That is my vision. And I challenge each one of you once again. Joanne, I know you dance. I don't know what you're doing with your dancing. And everybody I say, time is limited. You never know what will happen to you tomorrow. What are you leaving behind? It's not what you take when you die. It's what you leave behind when you go. And you don't have to do it when you have made it. I am still in the race I had mentioned before. I'm walking this journey. It's not an easy journey. It's a tough journey. But the tough ones who are willing to walk it will be able to achieve much more. And as we create brands from Kenya, I would call upon you Kenyans and even other Africans to buy local brands. Buy Kenya, build Kenya. Buy Africa, build Africa. We've got the talent. Amazing talent behind there. Grab something. I'm telling you, my heart oozes Africa and the creativity of Africa. the power we have as Africans is compared to none. Some of you know me as Evelyn, and I had a brand called Mefa Creations. A number of you may ask, why Akinyi? I traveled and I said, Louis Vuitton. All these names, are they not names? What about Akinyi Odongo? And then I trademark it already. I mean, why not? And I took it upon myself and stepped into that space. For the last 3 years, going to the 4th year, I thought it was going to be easy. I've been working out that brand. I've worked it out. And we are ready to soar. And soon, watch this space. Africa is rising. African woman is rising. African men are rising. African youths are rising. What are you doing with the blessings that God has bestowed upon you? I have chosen my path. Would you choose yours? Let's journey on.